Welcome to The Explainer, where we break down big ideas. Today, we're opening up the private journal of one of history's greatest leaders to figure out how in the world he navigated a world of absolute chaos.
Let's just start with this really powerful piece of advice written nearly 2,000 years ago. This isn't a command from some conquering emperor. It's a quiet reminder from a man who was just trying to govern his own soul.
So, the big question is, how did he do it? We're going to uncover the story behind this philosopher king, the incredible pressures he was under, and the timeless operating system he used to endure it all. First things first, to really get the book, you have to get the man. And the central paradox, the kind of wild thing about Marcus Aurelius, is that he was a philosopher who never ever wanted to be an emperor.
From his earliest days, his whole path was about reflection, not power. On the very first page of his journal, he actually credits his grandfather for teaching him to be gentle and meek and to refrain from all anger and passion.
His entire education was basically a checklist for self-control. He was taught to avoid all the public drama and political games of the circus, to embrace hard work, and above all, to put philosophy before anything else. This was training for a life of the mind, definitely not for commanding the world's most powerful army.
But, destiny had other plans. At the age of 40, bam, he becomes emperor. The throne, though, it brought him zero peace. Instead, it plunged him directly into a world of just relentless crisis.
And this is so crucial to understand. The Meditations wasn't written in some peaceful study. It was forged in the fire of an empire that was seriously teetering on the edge. And just look at the sheer velocity of disaster here. There was no breathing room at all. He faced war in the East, a plague that killed millions, constant invasions on the German frontier, famine, and even betrayal from his own inner circle.
And this one detail reveals so much about his character. When his top general, Cassius, revolted, Marcus didn't express rage. His primary emotion was sorrow, just grieving that he'd be forced into a civil war. His main wish was apparently that Cassius wouldn't hurt himself before Marcus had a chance to grant him a full pardon.
So, this all raises the obvious question, right? How did one man endure all of this without completely breaking? Well, the answer lies in his philosophical toolkit, his personal operating system for the mind, known as Stoicism.
Now, I know this might sound a little complex, but the core idea is incredibly practical. It's not about suppressing your emotions or being a robot. It's about rigorously, and I mean rigorously, understanding what you can control and what you absolutely cannot.
And this chart makes that distinction crystal clear. Think about it. You can't control getting sick, but you can control how you respond to it. You can't control what other people say about you, but you can control whether you let it disturb your peace. By focusing only on your own opinions, your own actions, your own desires, you can achieve tranquility, even when there's chaos all around you.
So how did he actually use this framework? Marcus didn't just study these ideas. He actively practiced them in a personal journal, a series of self-addressed notes we now call the Meditations.
This is so key. The Meditations was never meant for us to read. It was a collection of his innermost thoughts, written to himself for himself. One section is even dated in the country of the Quadi at Granois, which means he was literally writing these notes to himself on the front lines of a brutal war. It's incredible.
A perfect example of his mindset is the very first book. It's not some list of his achievements or his complaints. It's a detailed, get this, a ledger of gratitude, where he lists every single person who taught him something valuable, from his grandfather, who taught him meekness, to his mother, who taught him generosity.
He also used it for practical mental preparation. This is a famous passage where he starts his day by anticipating all the difficult people he's going to run into. He's not complaining here. He's arming his mind, reminding himself to respond with reason and not to be surprised or angered by how they behave.
So why does any of this matter to us? Why does this 2,000-year-old diary of a Roman emperor continue to resonate so deeply with millions and millions of people today?
Well, it's because the problems are fundamentally the same. His struggles with anxiety, dealing with difficult people, facing loss, and trying to find some sort of meaning in a chaotic world, those are our struggles. The Meditations is basically a field guide to human nature.
It all really comes down to this four-step process. First, he faced overwhelming external chaos. Second, he applied a clear internal framework to maintain his own mental order. Third, he actively practiced his framework every single day through writing and self-reflection.
And finally, he understood the only thing he could truly change was himself. And that kind of leaves us with a final provocative thought. In a world that constantly demands our reaction and our outrage, what can we learn from a leader whose primary focus was not on conquering others, but on conquering himself? Maybe the greatest empire any of us can ever rule is the one within our own minds.